Hello guys, today we're going to be working on this Samsung tap-load washer. The complaint is that it's not draining and the model number is on the display. Welcome to DIY Repair Now. Read all the warnings, and during this video you will see one or more of these icons to help you do this repair safe. So the complaint is that it's not draining and it still got water in. The door is locked, as you can see. So we're gonna go ahead and plug that in to be able to unlock the door and see how much water is in there. So we just wait a couple minutes, just press the start, and then it will release the lock. And you can see there's some water there. It doesn't look like it's much, but it is. So we're gonna go ahead and start by disconnecting the washer, and we're gonna remove the back panel. We're gonna use a Phillips bit with our drill to remove the 4 screws that are holding the back panel. You can also use a Phillips screwdriver if you don't own a drill. Now I always use the drill because it's faster and easier. Once you get the screws loose, just lift up and pull back the bottom part, and then it will release the top part as well, where are connected by male to female connections on it. Once you get it off, just move it out of the way, and always be prepared for sharp edges. Go ahead and wear some long sleeves shirt. Now I was pointing out here, and I will explain later how to cut that clip to be able to remove the wiring connection on the actual pump. Those are the 110 volts wire that provides power to the pump, but the wire is going to be on the way, so you have to cut it and release. That's why I put those pictures there. Now this is the drain hose from the tub. This coming from the tub to the drain pump, and then it comes out of the pump to drain in your drain line on the house. So we're gonna go ahead and put a clip here to prevent the water from going everywhere. Just be prepared for water to spill out, but in your case you will have to, if you don't own this vice grips, they are like a clamp, go ahead and scoop the water out from the inside of the washer, or go ahead and put the vacuum inside the washer to get the water out of there. Now if you own one of these clamps, go ahead and put it in this piece of a hose, or otherwise all the water that it's inside the washer is gonna be all over the place. Now this is the way I do it because, like I said, I'm a technician. I do this every day and I need to be in and out. But in your case, if you don't own these clamps, which by the way you can get it in Harbor Freight, and you know, once you remove this water hoses, these drain hoses, go ahead and be prepared for water to spill out. As you see right there, even putting the clamp, it was still water coming out. That's why I put the towel on the bottom. Now over here we can see the check valve for the drain line. Now sometimes your problem might be this flapper, which they call it a check valve, and I always rip it apart. As you see, this one was still good, but I don't like that check valve there because it fails, and sometimes your drain pump should still be right, and that check valve might give you an issue. Now as you see, I released the other hose, the one I put the clamp that is coming from the tub, and it's no more water coming out, just what's on the drain pump. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put this kit just to hold the drum to the side to be able to have more access to the drain pump. And this view we cannot see very good, but this is the check valve. That's where the check valve goes, and this is the piece that I ripped off. This flapper opens when it's draining and close when it's done. I'm gonna explain to you better in a few minutes once I get to that part. Now we're gonna try to get this pump out using a Phillips bit with our drill to release the 2 screws that are holding the pump in place. Now this is a very tight spot. I'm trying to get here, and I'm doing it with the drill. I find a better way to do it just with a Phillips screwdriver and do it by hand. They're not very tight, so you don't really need a drill, but in this case I'm using the drill because I want to do it faster. So just try to take your time, because it is a time consuming. So just, be patient and do things right. Again, be careful with the sharp edges around the washing machine. Wear like long gloves or long sleeve t-shirt. And in this, you can see how I remove the screws. See, I'm using a long bit. I put it a couple times there, that way you can see there are 2 screws. I'm going to show it to you right now. Once I get the pump out, at this point I already disconnect the pump from the 2 water hoses and the 2 wires. They are providing power to the drain pump. Once I get the pump out, you will see what I'm talking about. I'm trying to put this device again here just to prevent the drum from coming back to my hands, because I need some space to get this pump out. Now, once you remove the 2 screws, go ahead and release this piece of rubber. This would be the 3rd screw basically, but you can just remove the rubber just like so. Another thing is, it's kind of hard to get the pump out this way. In this scenario, this washing machine isn't a platform, so I have to do it from the top, but this is the screw that I was trying to get from the back. That's just a picture for you can see what I was doing with the drill. This is the flapper. This is the check valve, which I'm gonna give you a demonstration how it works. When the machine is draining, it opens, and when it stops draining, it closes. That way no water comes back. But I'm gonna go ahead and show it to you in a couple footage that this drain line is supposed to be only about 5 inches inside the wall all the way down. As you can see in this footage, that's where basically the drain hose should be. I'm gonna go ahead and explain it to you better later on. Some people put it all the way down, as you see in this footage, and that is not right. If that drain line is too long, you can go ahead and cut it out. See, when this drain line is too long, you can just cut it, and like around there, just make it shorter. That way it's not too long. So this drain line is like 8 feet long in case you have a long run. But if you don't have one, you can just go ahead and cut it however you need it. As you see, it's only about 5 inches. If you got 5 inches in, you don't really need that check valve on the pump. So if you got it like that, just about there, you don't need this check valve, because that's what that check valve is there, in case people put that drain hose all the way in the drain line that comes in the house. Now this is the new part. This is the new drain pump. You're just gonna go ahead and get it out of the box. And on this scenario, we order a OEM part, but I'm gonna go ahead and link a couple in the description of this video, so you can choose to buy it aftermarket or a OEM, however you want. It should work right. Now I'm gonna give you a demonstration of what I was doing, the things that you can see. This green cable, which is the wire that supplies power, was attached on here on this part of the pump. So I have to cut the clamp that holds it in place. Now you can have a better access from the bottom of the washer. This is another demonstration. That's how the cable goes. And I use a wire cutters to be able to remove the clamp, but try not to cut the wires. And again, you can tilt the washer in the back or to the side to be able to have access from the bottom and get the pump from the bottom of the washer. The reason why I didn't do it, because the owner got this washer in this platform, and it was kind of hard for me to get underneath of the washer because I would have to take it all the way down, and I was trying to to avoid doing that. So in this case, we're going to use the same housing. We're only going to be replacing the motor. So we're going to go ahead and remove 3 screws that are holding the motor in place. The housing is still good. The only thing is that I removed that flapper, check valve, however you want to call it, because I found that to give a lot of issues down the road. However, that was not the problem on this one. It was the drain pump impeller that wasn't working right. So we had to replace the pump to be able to do a good repair and find any cloggage. Sometimes you might find money or anything like that. Make sure you clean everything around before you install the new motor on the pump, on the housing. Make sure it goes in evenly as well, because if it goes in tilted and you screw it in tilted, it will start leaking. So just make sure it's in evenly. Make sure the gasket is in place, and go ahead and install the 3 screws. Also, this bracket goes just like so, and just follow the video. This video will, teach you and show you how to do everything right. Once you get the 3 screws in place, I recommend to tighten these screws with a screwdriver and not with a drill, because you can over tighten it and damage the new pump or housing. Now we're going to go ahead and connect the electrical wires back in the pump, and we're going to go ahead and set the pump in place and install the 2 screws that are holding the pump in place. Now, as you can see, I didn't put that rubber piece back in the on the pump, because I always remove it. If you install the drain line the way it's supposed to, you don't need that check valve there. I found a lot of calls where we had a lot of calls where that check valve's getting stuck, and sometimes open, sometimes it doesn't, and I just get rid of it. As long as you install the drain line the way it's supposed to, you don't really need it. And this is the piece that I was telling you about. That's where the little clamp holds it there. So you can put like a zip tie just to hold the wire in place, or find it kind of too tight. So I'm just gonna leave it like that. That way it has some play to it. I don't like when those wires are too tight, because the machine has a lot of vibration and sometimes it breaks those wires. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it like that. Either way, it has another secure zip tie very close to it. Now I'm trying to set it in place, and the first one I install is the piece of rubber on that side, just to secure in that piece right there. And now we're gonna go ahead and install the other 2 screws, one that goes here in the front and one that goes in the back. I wanted to remind you that you can also tilt the washer and do part of this repair from the bottom if that's convenient to you. I was trying to put this cover back on the new pump, but for some reason it didn't fit on the new pump. And again, I didn't remember, but I really believe that I put an OEM part or an aftermarket, whichever one I use. I'm going to go ahead and link it in the description of this video. This repair, it was done like about 3 months ago, and everything is still working fine. We didn't receive any calls. So whatever pump I install, I'm going to go ahead and link in the description of this video, and for sure is working good into now. Now I'm just setting the pump where it should go, and make sure I put the wiring for the power the wire that gives power to the pump. Just make sure it's not in the wrong way or anything like that. And in this case, I'm tightening this screw by hand, as you can see right there. You can do it by hand, or you can do it with the drill, however you want, or however is convenient to you. Now I'm doing the one in the back as well with a screwdriver. And I'm just gonna go ahead and tighten it very good. This is the screw that I'm working on right now, which is in the back. And I'm just using it with the drill just to make sure it's tight, because since I was doing it by hand, I started it with the hand, but to tighten it really good, I used the drill. Same here on this other one. Now I'm gonna go ahead and install this drain hose, which this is the one that goes towards the drain of the house, the drain line of the house, and put the clamp back in place. I love these clamps because you can just, get it loose and remove it with your hand and install it back again with your hand. You don't really need pliers or anything else. And the other one as well. Install the drain hose and the clamp and remove this vice grips or clamps, however you want to call it, out of the hose. And now we got water inside still. We're gonna go ahead and plug the washer in, and we're just gonna go ahead and try to start a load to make it drain. And it do a couple things to start moving things around, like sensing and stuff. In about 4 or 5 minutes, it should start draining. But I'm gonna forward this video a little bit. As you see, it's already draining. And look at this. It's draining the way it's supposed to, and it's only about 5 inches inside the drain line. Now we're gonna go ahead and put this panel back in place with the top first and then the bottom part. Now we're gonna go ahead and install the 4 screws that are securing the back panel, and you can hear it's still draining the way it's supposed to. Now we're gonna go ahead and start cleaning everything up. Put the old pump back in the box. Remove the towel that you put in the bottom, and just make sure everything works right. At this point, it's already draining. Everything start working good. We never receive any callbacks. Thanks for watching.